Did you quit? Have you quit? You quit on your marriage, your family, your work, whatever. Have you quit? Because I'm going to suggest to you that you didn't quit because it was hard. You quit because it seemed pointless. You quit on your marriage because, well, she's never happy. You quit on your kids because they just are doing their own thing. I don't even understand this generation. And you quit on your body because, what do I need it for? If we don't deal with this, if we don't deal with the very thing inside of us that gives us a reason to get up, a reason not to push that snooze button, a reason to go for a walk or go to the gym instead of watch TV. If we don't have that inside, we're not going to do it. It's very simple. You either have a reason to work out, a reason to eat good, and you have a reason to get up and go to work. And if that reason is gone, I don't care how disciplined you are, you're not going to be able to do it consistently. There was a time when you used to carry yourself strong, where you walked into a room and you felt like you were meant to be there. After time, you just stopped caring. We're meant to carry the weight of our passion, and yet somehow this world has just completely dragged that out of us. We're not meant to be scrolling where our soul inside is screaming at us. You are meant for more. They call me Rev. The punk rockers gave me that name back in my hometown, and I've been known as the Rev ever since. My wife and I, we've planted churches, we've discipled people, we've taught and coached leaders, and really we've been mentored by some of the legends of our faith. But I've also been a fat, out of shape ex-pro fighter whose business crashed and I had no reason to get off the couch. I stood in front of bulls when I was a kid and I didn't even want to go out the front door. And I want to share with you 3 things that I learned along the way when it comes to why we're stuck on the couch. And if you're in that tension between faith and fitness, if you're dealing with that, okay, what does my faith have to do with that? This is a tough balance to get, and I'm going to talk about that. I would just invite you to stick around and let's work through this together. And if you have that down, if man, my body's in shape, I'm healthy, I got this down, and I know what's going on with God and my body, that's great. I hope you'll stick around anyways, because I might remind you of something that you forgot. And we're part of a brotherhood. Iron sharpens iron. And in the comments, you might be able to encourage somebody. You might be able to answer a question. So stick around. Press that subscribe button if you're ready to get off the couch and get back in the game. One of the things that lifted me up back in the day was it was art. But I wasn't good at it, you know? A friend of mine, his name's Carlos Estrada Vega, and he is a brilliant artist. He's collected in museums all over the world, and he just happened to live around the corner. And he came and he saw one of my paintings, and I was embarrassed, man. It was chaotic and unorganized and not disciplined, but he looked at it and he didn't make fun of it. In fact, he saw something in there, and he encouraged me. He said, "John, I see the spirit in that." Well, I felt great. A couple days later, I show up at his studio in downtown Pomona, and I said, "Hey, man, I need a mentor." In every single thing in my life that I've ever excelled at, I always had a mentor, and I love painting. Would you mentor me? His answer is what I want to share with you today, because it sets up where we're going. He said, "John, I'll mentor you, but you need to give me one finished painting every week, and then we'll go over it together." Because painters paint, They don't wait for inspiration. They do the work. And as they do the work, the inspiration comes. He told me about an African word called muntu. And what it meant, the Spirit comes as you do the work. One painting a week. Well, I gave him 2. And when I started, my stuff was crap. But within 6 months, I was selling paintings for hundreds of dollars. And right now I have paintings hanging in collections all over the world. And it's because the Spirit comes as you do the work. If I have a why, I can deal with any what. I can deal with any how. But I have to have a why. So let's look for our why today. Carl Jung, the psychologist, said, the biggest problem is not the wound. The wound isn't the issue. The issue is you pretending that it's not still bleeding. Those wounds inside of us, those things that our parents told us, well, don't try too hard. Or maybe it's worse. Maybe it's you don't try hard enough. If we don't acknowledge that those wounds are there and start working forward, if we don't realize that we're bleeding, how can we ever get the care that we need? In Kings 19, Elijah, now think about this. Elijah, the prophet he had just called down fire from heaven and consumed the priests of Baal. He winds up in a cave in complete depression. He had just done the impossible, literally. And yet he was dejected because, okay, the fight is done. I won. It's over. So what use am I here anymore? What do I have to look forward to anymore? I did what I needed to do and now it's gone. Real sloth is not sleeping in. Real sloth is not having a reason to wake up in the first place. When my gym folded because of COVID, I had no reason to get up. I had no reason to train. I had no reason to take care of my body. I wasn't going to fight people anymore. When I stopped having a church, I had no reason to get in my Bible and to pray and to do all these things. And I know, man, we should be doing that just because we love God. But the fact is when we have a fight to win, we show up. And now I feel like I have a fight. I feel like I've been put on this earth to do something, and it's the only thing that pulled me off the couch. And now I get up and I go to the gym. I eat right. I take the supplements that I need to take. I drink water. I try to be healthy because I've got something I need to do. And this world is not going to be what it's meant to be as long as I keep sitting on my ass. I am meant to help other men break free from their couch. And I can't do that if I'm still sitting on my ass. The first thing that we have to come to grips with is if I don't know why, I'll never do the how. You would die for your wife, you die for your kids, you die for your friends, but will you go to the gym for them? Will you eat right for them? Will you spend time alone where you can recharge? Will you do that for them? Will you live for your family? Will you live for your friends? Second truth, you're avoiding something when you're sitting on the couch. The crazy thing is what you're avoiding is what's going to give your life meaning. What you're avoiding is what you really want. And the fact is you've probably been told your whole life that you're not that special. Bullshit, you are that special. Elijah's sitting in that cave. Oh, what's the use? I don't have anything to live for anymore. And so God comes along and he gives him a TED talk, right? God brought him some bread. God brought him some water, and he told him to get up and start walking. He didn't tell him why. He said, get up and start walking. 40 days. There was no hype. There was no cheerleading. Just obedience. He got up and did the work. And in the work, the Spirit came. He realized what he was made for. He realized who he really was. Look, in the first half of life, we do all kinds of shit for applause and for people to, think we're awesome. And the real reason we do that is because we want to think we're awesome. The fact is that we don't. And so we do all these heroic things to build ourselves up and to believe in who we think we are, to be the man that our dog already thinks we are, right? But in the second half of life, we're not moving because of applause anymore. In the second half of life, we're moving because the temple, the altar, who we are inside, the Spirit of God inside us demands that we move. Yeah, your youth is gone, but your calling is just beginning. Stillness and silence only matters when it's followed by obedience, or when it's caused by obedience. God didn't talk to Elijah in the cave. He told him to start walking. And as he was walking, that's when God talked to him. I've gotten up and went to the gym when I didn't want to. I've gone for walks when I didn't want to. But it's in that I rediscover who I am. We are made to be moving, not to be waiting. We're meant to be moving because it reminds us that we're alive. And if we're not getting up and doing, we forget why we're here. God speaks to us as we're on the road. When I was trying to walk out of my depression, I realized I had to do something. And so I started getting up on Sunday mornings and going to church. Just getting up and going to church reminded me that there was more to my life than owning a gym. There was more to my life than being a competitive athlete. There was more to my life than preaching to thousands of people. My life wasn't over. And I only began to wake up to that when I got up and I did something super easy. I went to church. And in that process, God began to wake me up. The third thing that we need to remember is that it's not about the discipline, it's what the discipline creates in us. You get up and you do the work, and in doing the work, God talks to you and he reminds you, hey man, you were put here for a purpose. And I need you to be healthy so you're strong enough to do it. I need you to be healthy so you're strong enough to bear the burdens, that you're strong enough to protect your wife and your kids, that you're strong enough to stand against oppression, to stand against the evils that you find yourself in the middle of, to be strong enough to resist the call to laziness. We need to be healthy. You say you want to get closer to God, get healthy. You say you want your marriage to be better, get healthy. You don't need rest. You need a reason to get up. And here's the reason. You are God's hands and feet in this world. And if you aren't out there being Christ to the people in your neighborhood, to your family, to the people at your work, it's not getting done. And you're only going to grab a hold of that truth if you get off your ass, if you get off the couch, if you get off your phone and get back in the game. Look, if you've been neglecting your temple, I get it, man. I was there. The way out is to get up and do some work. The way out is to go out and walk in nature. The way out is to eat right. That's the quickest, most powerful way you can make a difference in your life, is to get up and go do something. But one of the things that was so important about me going to church is because I had other people that knew the value of getting up too. And I surrounded them, or they surrounded me. When you're surrounded with people that are on the journey that you're on, it gives you a reason to keep going. You don't need more discipline, you need a resurrection. You don't need a new diet, you need a brotherhood. The first thing that you can do is click that link below and sign up for the Brotherhood. I'll send you the link to a Facebook group where we can actually encourage one another. We can be that support. We can be the church. We can surround each other with that power and that devotion to becoming all that we're meant to be. Stop waiting for God to talk to you and start walking, and He will talk to you. So if I can leave you with one thing, get up, do the work, and keep your ears open for the Spirit as you do so. Because God has plans for you that you cannot believe. Hey, this is Rev, and Rev loves you.